What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my full Season 1 review of a Cinemax show called Outcast. The show came out last year. Season 1 was on last year, and I enjoyed it enough that I'm anticipating Season 2. Season 2 drops next Monday. This coming Monday, which is April 10th. I believe it comes on at 9, but it might be 10 o'clock, Cinemax. So, if it's something you're interested in, obviously you're somewhat interested if you're watching the review, but if you haven't already, caught up to the show, maybe this review will entice you to watch further. Okay, so Outcast is another show that's based on Robert Kirkman comic book, and Robert Kirkman does The Walking Dead. This totally different show. It's a totally different tone. Everything about it is different. The only reason why I bring up Walking Dead in this video is because Robert Kirkman created both of them. But I guess it has a similar style of storytelling in a way. Alright, so Outcast, without giving too much away, and I never read the comics, I'm only hip to the show, I just know of the comics. Alright, so Outcast is about it's an exorcism show, I guess. It's about demonic possession. If you've ever seen Supernatural, the TV show Supernatural, which actually had a really good first 5 seasons, I don't really want to talk about what happened to it after 5 seasons, but it had a really wonderful 5 seasons, first 5 seasons anyway. And the demon possession is handled similar to that, in and out of the mouth, kind of like a black. In Supernatural, it looks more like the smoke monster from Lost, like a black smoke. In Outcast, it's more like a black goo. It's like, it reminds me of the Venom symbiote or the black goo from Prometheus, something like that. But, in high volume coming out of the mouth. Alright, so demonic possession show. It's about this guy, Kyle Barnes, who's been plagued by demonic possession his whole life. His mother was possessed, and then his wife got possessed. I'm not spoiling anything. This is all stuff that's in the first 10 minutes of the show. I won't spoil anything that goes beyond the first episode 100%. So, so it's about Kyle Barnes, and the guy's been plagued by demonic possession to the point where he says, I'm just going to basically become a shut-in, and I'm never going to leave the house. And then, demons can't follow me. They can't plague my loved ones because I'm not around, whatever. The show takes a few interesting turns. Now, it is a bit of a slow burn. The pilot, the first 2 episodes, I think, are really strong. I was really excited for the season. And then it's a 10-episode season, I believe. Maybe 8. I think it's a 10-episode season. And I don't know, episodes 3 to 7, they're not bad by any means. They move the story along, and they're extremely interesting and intriguing to watch. But the problem is with this show is there's really no action at all. There is some suspense, there's some thriller. It's definitely more along the lines of a horror show, but more psychological horror. There's there's not a lot of physical action going on in this show. So those of you who are into Walking Dead style shows where you have a lot of action going on, this may not be the show for you. If you like more heady stuff, or you like demonic possession stuff, because there's a lot of elements taken from things like, The Exorcist, Supernatural, like I said, various demonic possession stuff. But I wouldn't call it a ripoff or a copy on any of it. It really is a fresh take. The only thing that I think, I don't want to call it a ripoff because I don't really even know when the comic first started printing. I think they're only up to 25 volumes or issues or something. But I'm not really sure when it started. But the way, like I said, the way the demon enters the body and everything felt very, very much like Supernatural. So I don't know if the book was written before Supernatural, then obviously it's not a ripoff. The book came after. I guess it's kind of ripoff-ish. But, I'm okay with that stuff. Borrowing from other things to make your own thing, to me, that's totally okay. As long as you don't blatantly take someone's idea and just change the name on it and call it your own, right? All right. So it's a solid show. There's a couple of twists and turns that I don't think you'll see coming. And the reason why I don't think you'll see coming is because my main gripe with this show is the way the writing progresses through it. Because it seems like the writers were writing it on the fly. Because I feel like the writing improves with every episode. The writing to me got better. And also the acting feels a bit wooden in the first, even though the first two episodes are two of the better episodes. Though they're the out of the whole series, they're the worst, the most poorly acted episodes by a couple of the characters on the show. But I will say their acting improves as the show goes, because when you get to the last two episodes, those same people that you think, I'm not going to call out names or whatever, that you think maybe a wooden performance or a stereotypical portrayal of a certain character, by the end of the first season, I think you'll be you'll start to change your thoughts on that, and you'll feel how they kind of fall into the character. I find this problem with a lot of shows where the actors aren't given enough time before they're cast to prep the character to really get into the role, and it's noticeable to a fan, especially a hardcore fan like me, where I pick apart these things and I notice that you're getting into the character more with every episode. So with everyday filming, you had chances to fall into the episode. I feel like these actors should be given more time to feel the role out and become part of the role before shooting starts. That way we don't have that contrast. A lot of shows do it, not just Outcast, but that way we don't have that contrast between not really knowing who this character is, meaning the actor not really knowing who the character is, and then by the end of the first season, fully knowing and realizing who they should be. I find this problem with a lot of shows. Iron Fist was one I recently reviewed where I had big problem with that, where the guy, Finn Jones, playing Danny Rand, did not have enough chance to get into his role and really feel it out and make it feel natural. And that can hurt a show. Look, there's a lot of fans that won't go past 1 or 2 episodes. Me personally, I always give it the 4-episode try. If you can't get me by grip me, pull me in by the end of the 4th episode, there's something wrong with your show, in my opinion, in my tastes, and I won't go any further because I have a hard time of dropping a show that I've given a whole season to. I've done it before. Gotham, here's looking at you, kid. Loved the first season. Second season, it lost me, and I gave up on it mid-second season. And, that I'm not saying that it's a problem with that particular show. Maybe it's a problem within me, but this is the way I am. So I usually give 4-episode try. Now, a lot of people won't give it past 2. My point is that when these actors and actresses are not attuned with their role from the start, you're losing audiences in those first 2 episodes because you're not gripping them with the performances. And that can hinder a show. And Outcast, I think, this is part of the problem with the show, is the first 2 episodes as far as story goes and what happens in the episode and the cinematography and all that, really good. But when it comes to the performances, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them fall rather wooden. There's one actor on the show that I understand why they cast him. I apparently he looks very much like the comic character, but he's not a very good actor to me. He does get better as the show progresses, but I couldn't watch the first season on the first watch. This was my second watch. But on my first watch, I couldn't get through this whole season without saying to myself, this guy's a shitty actor. But like I said, it progresses as the show goes. All right, overall, it's a good show. It's decent. The first season was good enough that I sat through the whole season and enjoyed it. I even gave it a rewatch and wanted to review it for you guys. And I'm excited for season 2, which starts on Monday. So maybe season 2 will ramp up the action and the pace a little bit so that it feels a little bit more exciting as opposed to it just being like this dark horror tale that kind of meanders along in the middle, because that's what happens in the first season. But I recommend you do give it a try. Horror fans will definitely like this one. So horror fans, give yourself, an extra half a point to a point on my rating. I'm going to rate this Season 1, a solid 3.5, 3.5. So if you're a super hardcore horror fan, or you really love Robert Kirkman's work, or if you're a fan of the comic, because I understand it stays pretty faithful to the comic. But if you're a fan of the comic, let's face it, you've probably watched it already. But if any of those are the case, then you can give yourself another half a point to a full point. So you can I wouldn't give it a 4.5. I wouldn't go more than a 4 on this show. But if you're a super horror fan, you'll like it. It's creepy. I wouldn't call it scary. Definitely creepy. Some really, really creepy moments, but they feel a little, some of them, not all, but some of them feel a little too PG-13 for my liking. But check it out, Outcast, Monday nights. I believe it's at 9, might be at 10. Check that out. Of course, that's Eastern Standard Time. And it's the season 2 starts on Monday, which is the 10th. So you got a couple days if you want to get through the 10 episodes of season 1. And if not, I'm sure if you pick it up from season 2, you'll still enjoy it. But there's a few twists and turns in season 1 I didn't see coming that were really effectively creepy and effectively scary and, in my opinion, unpredictable. All right, that's it. That's it for my review of Outcast. Hit me up down below if you want to chime in, give your thoughts and opinions on the show. And, yeah, that's about it for this video. You guys have a good day, and I will see you next time.